High school, Secret Santa season in New York. I'm sitting on the floor near my locker with my nerdy friends, and we write our names and locker combinations on ripped up pieces of loose leaf paper. We toss them into a brown paper lunch bag and pick. Our limit was $5, which at the time was more than it seems. High school often felt socially challenging to me, and I was happy to be trading gifts with this quirky, nerdy group of kids who accepted me and all my quirkiness. The next week, I arrive at school in my big winter coat, 40-pound backpack, because this was before they gave kids textbooks to actually leave at home, so we had to carry them back and forth. I get to my locker and I jiggle and I punch, and I'm usually really good at this, and I elbow and I kick and I get it open because I'm really good at this. Someone has stuffed a Christmas tree in my locker. It is tall enough that they had to fold down the top, and it now pokes out, practically hitting me in the face. People start to look. Which of my friends had the brilliant sense of humor to think of this? I need to dump my backpack and coat in my locker, but that tree is taking up every cubic inch of space. I try to pull the tree out. I get it a little way, but it's really in there. Rubberneckers stop and stare and then come and help me, and we pull and twigs snap and needles fly and put a foot up for leverage, and we get that tree out and we free that noble fir. Then the tree does what all New England Christmas trees do as they warm. It opens, spreading like a battered peacock with broken branches and bald patches. And I think that tree looks a lot like the way we all felt in high school, as if someone had shoved us into a locker and left us there overnight. And I love that tree. Being Jewish and all, it isn't often I get a Christmas tree of my very own. I grab the books I'll need for my first 2 periods, hang my coat, throw my backpack in the bottom of my locker, but where am I supposed to put the tree? I have to get the tree back in the locker. I jam that tree as hard as I can, but this tree is like toothpaste and it is not going back in the tube. Of all the skills I've learned in high school, this is not one that they've taught us. And I'm starting to think this could be an essential skill given the friends I have. A crowd gathers. I quickly learn there is nothing teenage boys like better than a ridiculous challenge, a reason to be late for class, or, as Alex said, a chance to impress girls. Like me? This is new. They line up vying for a chance to tackle that tree. But no matter how hard everyone tries, no one can get that tree back into my locker. How the heck did my friend do this? This is a feat requiring high-caliber engineering, pig-headed determination, brute strength, and a wicked sense of humor. All coupled with the high school idealism that believes anything is possible. The bell rings, students disappear into their classes, and I stand alone in the hallway, holding my tree. Not knowing what else to do, I schlep the tree to BC Calculus. I'm late, of course, something this rule-following nerd is not used to. I enter, interrupting everything, getting stared at by everyone. I have to get the tree up and around the desks and over to my desk. I sit down, I put it in the aisle between desks, and my calculus teacher just looks at this Jew in that tree. No, you cannot bring that in here. Sorry, I can't get it back in my locker, and if I leave it in the hall, someone will steal it. He just shakes his head. In all the 28 years I've been teaching, I thought I'd seen it all. But no, now I've seen everything. Now I can retire. take it to the back of the room. I'm so bludgeoned. I grab the top of the tree as fast as I can and I drag it down the aisles, banging into desks and math nerds as I go, spreading pine needles like glitter. I am so red. Finally, the bell rings and math class is over. I grab my tree from the back of the room, then look out into the hallway at the crowds hurrying by. It's like a stampede out there. There isn't room for one more person out there, let alone my tree. I steel myself for the challenge, and then I plow forward like a football player at the scrimmage line. I push my way through, hoping not to get tackled. I think they're going to move out of my way, but there is no way for them to move out of their way, so I just keep pushing. I carry that tree up staircases, through overcrowded hallways, across the quarter-mile overpass that connects the buildings at my school, and we are bumping into each other. People laugh, people point, people duck, people dive, but few escape the wax of stray branches. Finally, lunchtime. I have to carry the tree back over the quarter-mile overpass. My arms are aching from the weight. My hands are covered in pine sap. I have scratches everywhere. As I near our lunchtime meeting spot, 2 of my friends fall to the ground laughing. Their faces turn beet red. One laughs so hard he can barely breathe. Then he stands, stumbles, says, "I just peed my pants," and runs to the men's room. Then Louise, a freshman, new to our group, brilliant, agile dancer, choreographer, future trapeze artist. Yes, we're a quirky group. She smiles mischievously. "I'm your Secret Santa. I wanted to put myself in your locker and then pop out and say, 'Merry Christmas, I'm your present.' I can fit, you know. But I was afraid if you were late to school, I could be late for first period. And if you were homesick or couldn't get the door open, I could miss a lot of classes." And yes, that's the quirkiness we're talking about. Louise is more afraid of missing classes than getting trapped in my locker. She continues, "So I had to think of something else. And then, as we were walking home from school, Ben, Keith, and I took a shortcut through the Christmas tree lot, and we thought, that could be a good Secret Santa gift. But the cheapest tree was $15, and I only had 7. And Ben asked if there were any cheaper, and the guy said no. So we searched the lot for the ugliest, most pathetic, unsellable tree we could find. And Ben convinced the guy to give it to us for $7, plus the change in Ben and Keith's pockets. The million-dollar question, of course, how did they get the tree in the locker? They explained. The tree was wrapped in twine. They shoved it in together, held the door mostly closed, sawed the twine off with a key, tucked the top down, and then very quickly pulled their hand out, pulled the twine out, and body slammed the door closed. And in that moment, I knew I had the smartest, coolest, funniest friends anywhere. For an entire day, this Jew and that tree were the hit of my high school. We traveled through hallways, staircases, and classrooms, bringing Christmas laughter and cheer to everyone we passed. And I got a taste of what it must feel like to be popular. By the final bell, I don't think there was a single person in my high school who hadn't been touched, or perhaps smacked in the face, by the Christmas spirit. My Secret Santa Louise was brilliant and funny. She had a zest for living. So it was a shock to all of us when she was diagnosed with a brain tumor at age 30, given 2 years to live, and told to put her affairs in order. Living with a brain tumor was never easy for Louise, but somehow she persevered for a lot longer than 2 years. How much longer? What do you believe is possible? 3 years? 5? 8? 12? How about nearly 24 years? How about becoming one of the longest known survivors of that type of tumor? This coming Sunday, coincidentally, the first night of Hanukkah, marks the one-year anniversary of Louise's passing, or as we call it in Judaism, her yahrzeit. There's a Hebrew expression, Zichrona livracha, may her memory be a blessing, which also we interpret to mean, can we take the best part of the person that we remember and live that forward, keeping them alive in that way. A little piece of Louise lives on in my memory and my heart. And now that you know her story, perhaps she's in yours too. My Secret Santa wish for all of you is that you live forward Louise's brilliant sense of humor, creative problem solving, pig-headed determination, and the high school idealism that believes anything is possible.